Biur Mishnah Vav. Explanation from Mishnah Vav. Keitzad bodkim beit hadin et ha'edin. How does the court check the witnesses? Edei HaChodesh. The witnesses that they saw the new moon. Zug shel edim, the pair of witnesses, sheba rishon, that comes first. Bodkim oto rishon, they check him first. So first come, first served. Umachnisin et hagadol shel bahem, and you start with the elder in them. Obviously, we're talking about elder, a father and son, a rabbi and a student. Somebody is older, somebody is younger. You take the elder. Shayu bodkim kol ed lechud, that they, in other words, they don't sit them together. They want to make sure that the story drives. That they checked each one on their own. V'tchila yu machnisim lebeit din et hagadol shebaedim. In the beginning, they took in the one who's the elder in the witnesses. Ve'omrim lo, and they say to him, Emor, say, Keitzad ra'ita et halevana? How did you see the moon? Lifnei hachama or le'achar hachama? Was it facing the sun or was it away from the sun? I think what it's talking about over here. Yeah, I don't think that's what he's talking about over here. We'll see soon. It might be, but we'll have to work it out to see if that's what he's talking about. I think I think he wants to know what the crescent is. Is the crescent this way, or the crescent this way, or the crescent this way? I think that's what he's talking about. But we'll see. It might be Lifnei hachama or lachar hachama can also be what you're saying. Was it in the morning, early morning you saw it, or was it in the evening that you saw it? That can also mean. But I'm not sure. We'll see soon. B'Gemara mevuar, in the Gemara it says, Pgimata lifnei hachama or lachar hachama. In other words, it was missing its part. The area towards the sun or the area away from the sun. Pgimata levana, when we're talking about Pgimata levana, the blemish of the moon, hainu atzad hashakori shela. We're talking about the black part, the part that you don't see. Shu hachelek habilti muar sheba. In other words, the part that is not shined on. V'omnam barur v'yadua adavar. And of course, we know these things. Shelo hatzad hashakori el hatzad hagavnuni shel halevana. That we see the back of the levana. That's what we see. Hainu hachelek hamuar sheba, which means the part that is with the light on it. Hu poneh tamid el pnei hachama. It always has to face towards the sun. So if you saw it in the morning, you're going to see it this way, and if you see it in the afternoon, you're going to see it this way. So we're going to ask him, was it in the morning, in the morning? So you see it on the left side or on the right side? I already know if he's lying right now, because he's not going to remember. He doesn't think. Yeah, in his mind, he saw. He remembers the moon, the new moon. Yeah, new moon looks like this. But now you said it started in the morning. In the morning, it should have been on this way or whatever. שהרי אורה של הלבנה בא לא מן החמה כמו שביארנו. בא לה מן החמה כמו שביארנו. Because the light of the moon comes from the sun, like we explained. וזה שאמרו, and this is what it says, מעולם לא ראתה חמה פגימתה של לבנה. It says, the sun never saw the blemish of the moon. In other words, it's never going to be the sun on this way. The sun is on this side of the moon, and you're going to see the blemish on the other side. I mean, you'll see the light wherever it is. מכל מקום, nevertheless, היו שואלים את העד אם הלבנה שראה אותה בחידושה. Nevertheless, you have to ask him, when you saw the new moon, פגימתה הייתה על פני החמה או לצד אחר? He says, you saw the light towards the sun or to another sun? In other words, or to another side. You see what he says? Maybe he thinks it's a trick question. He's going to lie if he didn't really see it. Whatever the reason is. Okay. And then you have to see, letzfona or ledroma. Did you see it on the north or on the south? Because sometimes the crescent will be on the top more, and sometimes the crescent will be on the bottom more. And they will know on this, where would it be? It will be on the bottom more sometimes, or on the top more, the crescent. Shel hachama, of the sun. בגמרא מבואר, in the Gemara it explains, שביומות הקיץ נראית הלבנה החדשה כשהיא לדרומה של החמה. So in the summer, you will see the moon when it is to the south of the sun. היינו דרומית מזרחית ממנה. In other words, if the sun rises over here, like over there, like by us, then the moon sometimes would be this way of the sun and sometimes will be this way of the sun. It will tilt. On the summer, the moon will be there, on the winter will be the opposite. Yeah. Exactly. So the sun moves and the moon stays constant, so you would know if the guy is lying. Okay? שכן בימים ארוכים שוקות החמה בקרן מערבית צפונית, because in the summer the sun sets in the northwest, ואילו ביומות הגשמים, and in the winter, היינו בימים הקצרים, החמה שוקעת בקרן מערבית דרומית. Sun sets in southwest. You know, so it moves from north to south, like I said. So the sun has this tilt over here in Tucson, right? Same thing in Yerushalayim, by the way. Tucson, Yerushalayim is the same thing. Yeah. No, but the tilt of the Zeh, we exactly the same longitude. Yeah. So it will be the same thing exactly as Yerushalayim. ואז נראית הלבנה בחידושה כשצפונים מזרחית מהחמה. Already you can see it's hard to lie. If you didn't see it, you don't remember the details. You don't learn astrology, especially in those times. Who learns astrology, right? So the guys would teach you immediately. Was it this way or that way? That's it. וזה שאלו את העד לצפונה או לדרומה. This is what they used to ask the witness. Was it to the north or to the south? And then they will ask it. כמה היה גבוה? How high was the moon? Was it this way? Was it this way? Was it this way? Where was the moon? הירח מן האופק לפי ראות עיניך. It was 2 fingers from the horizon, 5 fingers from the horizon. Where was it? ולאיך היה נוטה? בצידו הפגום. And how was it tilted? In the blemish side. וכמה היה רחב? And how thick was the crescent? Was it 1 finger thick, 2 fingers thick? It was a half, it was a quarter, it was an eighth. How long? קו האור של הלבנה. וכבר ביארנו, we already mentioned, שבית דין הגדול היו בקיאים בחשבון. The court knew exactly on that day exactly what the shape and exactly how it looked. So the guy couldn't... וידעו את מצב הלבנה בהתחדשונה. They knew exactly what the shape is and the whole thing. מכאן ידעו לבחון את נכונותו של עדות החודש. That's how they used to check them to see if they're talking the truth or not. אם אמר, if ever somebody comes and says, you know the sun is... You made a calculation, and the guy says, I saw the sun over here, right? I saw the moon over here. And you know that at that time, the sun would be setting over there, right? The sun setting over there. And he's telling you the crescent is on the left-hand side. You know, forget about it. This guy doesn't make sense. Im amar lifnei hachama, so if the guy says, I saw it on the side of, I saw the blemish on the side that you know that the sun is on. So you can't see the blemish. I know that the sun is there. You couldn't have seen it tilted to the right. You've seen it to the left, if anything. Yeah? Lo amar klum. So then we don't take his testimony. Because obviously he's lying. משנתנו בא ללמד בעניין השאלה הראשונה. Our Mishnah comes to teach us about the first question. כיצד ראית את הלבנה? When he says, how did you see the moon? לפני החמה או לאחר החמה? Before the sun, I mean from the side of the sun?
What do you mean by before the sun or after the sun?
The blemish, if the moon is over here and the sun was over here, so did you see the crescent? This לפני החמה mean on the side facing, on the side facing the sun, on the facing away from the sun. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Let's use the word facing and away. Yeah, but in Hebrew, that's the way it says. לפני means facing. Yeah. שאם אמר העד לפני החמה, because if the witness says, I saw the light, I saw it facing the sun, עדותו בטלה. We're going to see it's immediately, it's impossible. שדבר זה אינו אפשרי לגמרי, because that will never be possible, כמו שביארנו לעיל, like we explained before. והוא הדין בשאר השאלות, and also that's how you check him in all the other questions. שאם תשובת העד הייתה בסתירה לדברים הידועים לבית דין, that if the answer of the witness was against the information that the courts know, על פי חשבון המולד, according to the calculation of the moon, עדותו בטלה. We don't take his testimony. ואחר כך, and then, what will they do? So, you see, the first one has a long time over there. He's going to be asked all these questions. Then you bring in the second one. מכניסים את השני, את העד השני, the second witness. ובודקים אותו, and then you check him. כדרך שבדקו את הראשון, just like you check the first one. אם נמצאו דברים מכוונים, if they have the same story, היינו באותן השאלות, they were asked the same question, שהיו צריכים לענות עליהם, that it was necessary for them to answer, לפי עומדם דעתם. Of course, they're not going to have exactly the same, people talk different, but the idea is the same idea, כגון כמה היה גבוה, כמה היה רחב, they both agree on the shape, how high it was, how wide it was. אם תשובותיהם היו מוכנות, if everything was correct, שלא הייתה בסתירה ביניהם, there's no disagreement between them, עדותן קיימת. Then we take this testimony. בגמרא אמרו בעניין השאלה, the Gemara explains, when it comes to the question, כמה היה גבוה, how tall was it, שאם אמר אחד שתי קומות, because if one said it was 2-story tall, ואחד אמר שלוש קומות, and one says it was 3-story tall, we take it. 2, 3, it's about the same. Yeah. עדותן קיימת, we're going to take the testimony. לפי שהערכתן קרובה זו לזו. In other words, they don't have to have exactly the same measurements. People see it differently. Yeah. אבל אחד אמר 3 קומות, והשני אומר 5 קומות, but one said 3 and the other one says 5. That I don't take. Why? Because 5 is very close to 6. In other words, the guy would never say 3 if that, because 6 is here, and 5 and 3 is a big difference. The 3 is lying or the 5 is lying, because it's either was close to, because it's a mark that you will remember halfway. Yeah? Between 2 and 3, it's not a mark that there's something to remember in. But between 3 and 5, it is, I don't trust you. Big difference. So therefore, edutan betela. And so this is the first pair. What about all the others? There's millions of people now came. ושאר כל הזוגות, what about all the other witnesses שבאו להעיד, that came to witness? It says, also them, שואלים אותם. Also then you come in front of the Beis Din. And also them, you ask them. But not, you don't have to go through all the things. You saw it over there, you said, good enough. A few questions, and that's enough. You don't have to, interrogate him for half an hour like the first two.
But they would ask everybody.
They would ask everybody. That's right. He's going to explain. שואלים אותו ראשי דברים ללא פרטים יתרים. You ask him the main questions without the details. לא שהיו צריכים להם, not that we need them. Because after the testimony we take 2 witnesses, that's it. We don't need anybody else. שהרי שני העדים שנתקיימה עדותם. Because once you have 2 witnesses that you establish that they're kosher witnesses, מספיקים כדי לקדש את פיהם על החודש. They're enough to make the sanctification of the moon. אלא כדי שלא יצאו פחי נפש. Because we don't want them to say, hey, I came all the way to ירושלים for no reason. What did I come here for? בצער על שטרחו באו לחינם. They're going to say, hey, I came here for nothing. הילקח מכניסים גם את השאר. Therefore, we're going to go through this charade. Yeah, we don't need it, but we're going to go through this process. ושואלים אותם ראשי דברים, so they will feel good. You came, we party, you're important. Don't worry, you're as important as the first guys. בשביל שיהיו רגילים לבוא, because we want to make sure that next time they're going to come when they see the moon. Other sides, why are they going to come? There's 2 guys, there's 20,000 people who are coming, and they only need 2 guys. Why am I coming for? No, I'm necessary. Look, they ask me also questions. I help the process. בשביל שיהיו רגילים לבוא. So that they will be used to come. לבית דין להעיד על החודש, to court, to be witnesses for the month.